Hello, everybody. It is Renee and Dee, and it is so good to see you. We are going to be talking about deviations in phase 1. And of course, we all know that there should be no deviations in phase 1, and we should be on 100% protocol. And how do we do that? There's no good time to lose weight, as we all know. There's always going to be an anniversary, a vacation, a day off, a birthday, whatever it is, it's coming up. So you've made this commitment to yourself. We have now passed the whole month of January. I'm not sure where everybody started at, but let's just kind of go over some of the real specifics of how Ideal Protein works, because it really is a medically derived protocol. So Dee is from Redcliff Pharmasave up in Alberta, right?
That's it, Alberta, Canada.
I never get this right. Medicine Hat or Redcliff? You're from Redcliff. All right. So anyway, so Dee is a coach. She works with a team up there. She has, how much weight have you lost yourself?
Well, I've lost over 100, but unfortunately, I did some poor maintenance this fall, so I'm on phase 1 too right now. So it's a great time to talk about phase 1 as a coach, and I'm calling it phase 1 for myself, not just a reboot, because I have to do a little bit more than a reboot this time, because I got super lazy with my maintenance this fall, and it catches me really quick. And but I have to be really honest with you, it's not because I was making wonderful choices. So yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, that's true. Okay, so first and foremost, let's do a little housekeeping. If you would like to join Dee's recipe group on Facebook, she has a private group which she makes the most creative recipes and gives you so many different options on things to eat for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. You can just type in recipe. And I also have a special ebook for everybody today, which is an ebook about tips for special occasions. And all you have to do is type in yes, and you will get that. So looking forward to talking to everybody. Please tell us where you are from. Tell us if you are on Ideal Protein, how much you've lost so far. Are you just starting? Do you want to get started? What questions do you have? We're going to go over a whole bunch of stuff today about what constitutes deviations from protocol. So let's just answer a quick question here. Hi, Lona, how are you? Yes, you may share these discussions. All you have to do is share this post where it says share underneath the video, and share it out to your Facebook page, to your private page. And please, yes, everybody share. The more we share, the more information we get to share with each other. And what the coolest part of this format is, I'm learning, Dee's learning, and we're teaching you also. And then all the coaches that come online and share how they coach. We're all just sharing information on how to do it the best, because all of these people know it from experience. I've lost 65 pounds 3 times in my life. Dee's lost over 100 pounds. Melissa says hello, and she's lost over 100 pounds. We're definitely all here because we live it day to day. And we want to share with you tips on exactly how you can be the best. You can get your weight off in a fairly quick period of time. 8 to 10 pounds a month is our average. Is that your average, Dee?
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. So sometimes a little bit more.
All of our clients, yeah, except for men. Men get 12 to 15. Bummer, but that's the way that is.
That's okay. Because we have more lean mass, ladies. So don't get discouraged.
Right. That's right. So Dee and I were talking earlier, and one of the things we wanted to share with you is don't compare yourself to other people, especially if you're looking at all these Facebook groups online. And, you know, on some of the Facebook groups, there are up to 50,000 people that are, you know, inputting things. So listen to your coach. first and foremost. And one of the things that we were talking about, Dee, is why women need to, how the difference is in that first week for some women, just depending on their glycogen and water load, and some women that are protein deficient. Would you please share with us how that happens and why it works?
Sure. So in your first week on program, you are kicking out your water and glycogen out of your muscles. And everybody has a unique amount individual to them. So the first thing is, do not compare your first week loss with any other client, your spouse, friend, any other clinic user. Your results are individual to what your body is carrying. And some dieters in that first week, especially if you are a person who has been, we want to call it a little bit protein deficient, your muscles may be just sucking up that high grade protein that you're getting. And so it's going to stay on board. The good news about that is it's a benefit. Your muscles are going to be able to use that. So then going forward, an improved lean mass is a better metabolism. It's a better engine burner. So that being said, the various amounts of weights that you see in that first week, it is only usually glycogen and water. Very few get right down to that fat burn in that first week. So we don't want you to worry, be concerned, or panic about comments like, I only lost 2 and my friend lost 10. Well, that friend had a whole pile of water. They had a lake. You just had a little puddle in there. So let's not worry about it. And once that glycogen and water is gone out of our muscles, then we can get down to the actual fat burn.
That's, yeah, I love that. So one of the things that I let my clients know is that this can take anywhere from 1 week to 3 weeks to actually detoxify completely and get to the point where you're no longer losing what looks like lean mass, because what you're really looking at is water, glycogen, and again, when you're protein deficient, your lean mass is going up. So even if you're burning fat, it looks like you're not losing any weight, because if you don't have a type of scale that actually will show you the comparison between the fat and the lean mass, you can actually be burning 3 pounds of fat and gaining 3 pounds of lean mass, and it looks like you got nothing done for the week on your regular scale. So going to a clinic, hopefully your clinic has that kind of scale, or finding an option where you can get on either a Tanita or an InBody. Maybe your local gym has one that you can go to periodically. I think those are important things. Is don't, and one thing, Dee, is do you guys have a Tanita, right?
We do. Yes.
Yeah, we have an InBody. Do you measure your clients, since you already have the Tanita, which is doing, giving a lot of information already on the printout?
We absolutely measure our clients, and we measure them every week. And we measure in multiple different locations. We do 2 spots on the arm. We do chest. We do on females. We do right below the chest, at belly button, hips, thighs, and where your fingertips rest on your leg. It is extremely important for clients to know that their body is changing everywhere, and we're not just putting values in numbers on the scale. We're looking at the whole picture on how the body is transforming. And it's a good tool to show them exactly how their body is transforming as well. So absolutely, every week it's part of the protocol.
That's great. Okay. So, if your coach doesn't measure you, it's totally okay to measure yourself and keep track of those things yourself. So those are great tips that Dee told us where exactly to measure from. So Dee, one of the things that I continually get this question is, how do I know if I'm in ketosis?
Well, for some clients, it is blatantly evident by things like their breath, their energy levels. So when you're in your detox phase, I call it detoxing. So when we're kicking out that water and glycogen, we might feel a whole array of negative side effects. tiredness, sluggish, hungry, brain fog, headaches, nausea. Some people instantly get detox rashes, itchy, acne can increase as our body is detoxifying. So we see all types of side effects. And then all of a sudden, the table turns and we sleep good and we feel good. And all of a sudden we have boundless energy and we're not hungry anymore. And in fact, some clients will report that, oh man, like it's actually really hard to get all this food in. I'm just not feeling hungry. So that's a great sign that you're in a great burn.
Yeah. So what? Okay, well, I got that client. That client came in last week. So what do you say to that client?
That's in the great burn.
Okay, I can't eat all this food.
Oh, well, that one. So then we're going to say, but it's absolutely imperative that you do eat all that food so that we keep you feeling like you are feeling. So, and then for that client, we're going to have to break it down and feed them smaller amounts all day to make sure we get it in, which is perfectly acceptable.
Exactly. That's exactly what I say too. You know, this is only 900 calories. So be clear, you need every single thing. Okay, so before we go on, let's talk to a couple of people here. It's so nice. Thank you, everybody, for letting us know where you're from. Let's see. We have Wes and Jackie Gebhardt, 100 pounds. Woo! All right. That's awesome. I know. Yes, Jill Myers, Nebraska phase 1, currently to lose 20. Already lost 49 pounds 4 years ago. Good for you. That's so that shows that you can lose, you can maintain, and if it starts creeping back up, just like what Dee said, man. And honestly, I go on a reboot twice a year. I do like 6 pounds twice a year. Okay, and Melissa, I lose 12 pounds of glycogen and water in 1 week. If I go back to eating carbs in phase 4, I regain 12 pounds. That's my number. That's a big number. So my number is right around 3 or 4 pounds, which means when I do a reboot, it takes me 3 weeks to lose like 6 pounds. So, don't compare yourself to other people. Oh yeah, Redcliff Pharmasave for me. Dee is my awesome coach, and I love Melissa. If you haven't looked at, go into the video section of our Facebook group. There's so many great coaches and great videos, and Melissa is one of our highest rated, where she talks about blood sugar and diabetes. It's such an important subject. All right, we have one more here. Hi, Hillary. Thanks for coming on. In phase 1, starting week 6, have lost 20.4. So you lost 6 in your first week. Yeah, that can be common. And then it can be common that you lose 2. So would like to lose 50 or more. Yay. Well, you know what? Here's the good news. It's like 8 to 10 pounds. So I just go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and boom, it's gone in 6 months. And I can tell you, that's a really, unique thing, because I've been on pretty much every diet out there. And sometimes I would lose 18 pounds a year running, 20 miles a week. I don't do that anymore. Yeah. Okay. So remember that if you would like to be a part of Dee's Facebook recipe group, all you have to do is type recipe in the comments, and you will get a message sent to you from Facebook, and will be able to join her group. And then also, if you would like our special occasions ebook, all you have to do is say yes, and we will send you that through your Facebook Messenger also. All right, so let's talk about, we just talked about ketosis. How do you know you're in ketosis? Dee, would you like to explain why keto strips don't work in phase 1? Or very hardly work?
Well, when you're doing that initial glycogen dump, that's when that's going to show up on those ketone strips. And once that big influx is done, even though that the amount is still being spilled, it's in a slower amount, so it doesn't always show up on those papers. And so they're a very poor guide to ketosis. The good news is, if you have followed 100% with no deviations, no lick, bite, taste, no nothing on that, you're guaranteed to be in ketosis. Your body will not go out of ketosis. You actually physically need to ingest something to pull you out. So honestly, those little strips, they are a waste of money, and they're actually not designed for ketosis testing. They're actually designed for clients, for example, like diabetics who are looking to see if they're spilling ketones for ketoacidosis. So yeah, we don't want clients to get too caught up in those types of yeah.
And the bottom line is if you're doing the program 100%, you don't need to worry about if you're in ketosis, so you don't need a keto strip.
Yeah.
So, all right. So on that note, does one bite kick you out of ketosis? And this is a subject that I've seen online, and it's also a subject that one of my clients asked me last week, like, is it one bite? And like, so how long then does it take me to get back to ketosis? Is it like 3 hours? Someone asked me that last week. So I'm going to let Dee answer that.
So that one bite can most certainly pull you out. It might depend on what that bite is, and it might depend on what your body, how it responds, how your body is actively made up. Is it enough? Well, I personally, from my own experience, if I ate a cracker, it will kick me out, and it will take me 3 to 4 days to get back into the burn. And that's my absolute truth. I am carb sensitive. My pancreas absolutely need the break. They need the reset. And so every time you take a bite of sugar or carb, you're waking up those pancreas, and you really are wasting 3 to 4 days. I call it, flushing $50 down the toilet is really what I call it too.
Well, even though, because you're wasting a whole week is the way that I see it. Because if it takes you 3 to 4 days to get back into ketosis, then by the time you hit your appointment, you're barely, you didn't do anything. No. And I always say it's like being on the hamster wheel, you're just this and that one bite. Why?
And then often with that one bite, and then, when the client sees the numbers spike up because it's that glycogen in water that's spiking up, not true weight, then they panic and they start shorting themselves on the other nutrition end of what they're supposed to be doing, thinking that they're going to get themselves back down faster. And all you're doing is then starving yourself to get those numbers. So you're manipulating numbers, but you're not manipulating your progress. And that's the bottom line.
And what happens is your body switches over and burns lean mass instead of burning fat because it doesn't have enough protein in it, because you decided that you were going to do what you used to do when you just restricted your calories. So it doesn't, I always tell a client, if there is a problem, if you had a deviation, it happened, move on and get immediately back into ketosis. But don't restrict your meals, because what you end up doing is sabotaging your way. Now you've sabotaged yourself by getting out of ketosis, and then you sabotage yourself by not having enough protein to support fat burning. So,
and this is an analogy that Melissa has used in our clinic on myself and on other clinic users. So we like to use it as, so you had that one bite. It's like dropping your phone. So you dropped your phone and you got a little crack on it. Do you keep stomping on the phone until it's totally broken?
Exactly.
No, you don't. You pick it up, dust it off.
Yeah, exactly. One bite does not become 3 meals, does not become 3 days of binging. So that's where, as you get more and more educated, you will stop with that one bite, because you know what it's going to do to you. And not only is it going to stop your weight loss, but you're going to feel crappy. And then you got to go all the way back through, all the carb cravings and sugar cravings and all of that. Okay, so go ahead.
Well, if you were a client that experienced some nasty detox too, then be prepared that you might start that right from scratch as well. The headaches, the nausea, it's just not worth it.
Okay. So let's see. We have Tanya. Nice to see you from Coach here, Coach Joy in Gillette, Wyoming. Nice for you guys to join us. All right. So remember, type recipe or type yes, and you'll have access to Dee's Facebook group and also our special occasions tips. Okay, so let's see. One of the questions I get a lot is, so why do I have to eat the ideal protein packets? Why can't I just eat chicken or eggs in place of that?
Well, it's a great question, and luckily we have a great answer. So we need to reduce our calories, first of all, when we are doing a reduced fat diet as well. And to do that, if we needed, let's re-clarify, sorry. We need the protein support. The IP packets are high biological, highly absorbable, pre-broken down protein for you. In that form, they also come attached with a lot less calories. So for example, the average dieter needs 3 packets a day. And you're going to get in those packets anywhere from maybe 300 to 450 calories. I couldn't feed you 3 steaks that had at least, 15 to 20 grams worth of protein for only 400 calories. Hence, too many calories is going to stop the weight loss from happening. Even though they are from a healthy source of protein, the interesting thing about whole proteins also is that we actually only use about 30%. Our body, once we break it down, it only utilizes about 30% of that protein. And so there's a lot of waste left over in that as well. So less amount of protein and actually higher calories are attached to whole food protein sources, which are going to be great for us when we're done. But we need a little bit more support, and we need it highly absorbable, and that's what we get in the IP packets.
Right, with full amino acids and which create that ability to burn fat and have great high energy and keep the fats low. And one thing I also like to talk about is that eating a huge amount of animal protein and a huge amount of animal fat, our bodies can only process so much stuff. And we need to keep our organs, balanced and healthy, and that's where maintenance comes in. But we want our livers to be optimized, and our gallbladders and our kidneys, and we don't want them over processing things and causing other issues. So that's where the scientific, medically derived meals from Ideal Protein, they're geared so that you are in optimum health as you are going through this process. So that brings me to the subject of supplements. So, I will always have clients that say, oh yeah, I'm taking my supplements. Well, that's funny because you haven't bought any in the last couple months. I got mine at Costco. I looked and they're just exactly the same. So I'm going to let Dee address why we need our supplements, what they do for us, and why you can't interchange them. It's not something we're just trying to sell you so we can upsell you something. So Dee, Go ahead.
So there's a few great points on this. So if you are not taking your supplements, you are deviating from the protocol. When you're doing Ideal Protein to burn your own fat, we are taking away nutrients from your diet. And so we need to make sure for a balanced diet that we are taking them in supplement form for complete nutrition. It's not only does it enhance your weight loss, it's a must to make sure that all your systems, organ function, brain function, bones, everything are supported. Now, Ideal Protein knows exactly what's in their packets for nutrition. Your supplements make up the balance. They have ensured that it has done that. So if you're taking something else, we can't ensure it's the same quality. We can't ensure it's the same formula, and absorption rates are not the same from brand to brand. There is fillers, there is different ingredients. So to ensure your nutrition and ensure that it's done safely, we definitely recommend that you take the prescribed supplements. Now, in the case, for example, that, well, you know what, I can't swallow those CalMag horse pills. That's okay. We've got a liquid brand that we know that the company has assured us is the same quality. We can give you that. Same with omegas, those types of things. If there are any clients that do have health contradictions, specifically for allergies or anything, then we can find you an alternative or another brand that is safe. So while we do understand that, for the general public that is on the diet that doesn't have any interactions, it's a must. And clients that skip supplements have poorer results, and they also experience different side effects. Fatigue is a number one. Sleep, so hence sleep and fatigue go hand in hand. Sore muscles, sore legs, cramps, not proper bowel function, all sorts of things go hand in hand with not taking your supplementation. So they're really important. They're a critical part of the program.
Yes, and it's really interesting because I had a client come in last week, and she's such a doll, and her and her husband came in together, and he's like 100%. He takes all his supplements and drinks his shakes, and he trains on his bike, and she's got some health conditions, some autoimmune issues and what have you, and she's the one that doesn't take her supplements, and I said, how are you feeling? And she said, oh my God, I don't even feel like I can lift my hands over my head. And I was like, are you taking your supplements? Well, I keep meaning to. I can't take those horse pills. That was exactly what she said. So yes, you have to find the ways to get that supplementation in, and get it in, twice a day. Don't take all your pills at one time. They're engineered to be taken over a space and time. And do you want to address that, Dee? Why we do that?
Yeah. So it's so that you're getting that nutrition throughout your day, throughout the evening. That being said, though, if you need to back it up, so take a little bit more in the morning and some at lunch, that's okay too. It is outlined. If we have to manipulate that outline a little bit, that's okay. We're just not taking them all at one time. And speak to your coach if you're having any troubles anywhere with taking them, anywhere from little containers for your purse, for on the go, how you set your vitamins up at home. Often hear things like, the fish oil repeats on me. That's okay. You know what? Stick them in your freezer. Freezing them helps. It doesn't lose any of the potency, but then they don't repeat on you. So your coach may have a lot of recommendations on how to make that easier for you as well. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Those are great ideas. And yes, I always say with the fish oils, definitely. And maybe Dee can share with us in the comments section when we get off of the live play that some of the products that they would recommend if you have a problem and you need a liquid format. That would be nice, Dee, to share with us.
I just seen it.
Go ahead.
No, read Toby's comment there. It just flashed across.
I was just going to pull that up on screen. Toby says, being in a pharmacy, we blister pack them weekly for clients. I don't even know what blister pack is. What is that, Dee?
Oh, it's awesome. So they are all in every day of the week. And blister packing means they're secured in their own little bubble. You pop them out to take them. So they could have like a blister strip of their day or their whole week ready to go. Take it with you anywhere. They're not going to get lost. You don't need to carry around your big bottles. It's a great idea. So often, if you're not on a diet, just medications are blister packed in pharmacy.
You can just go to the pharmacy and they do that for you?
I can't speak to, maybe this is where all the pharmacists can kick in. I know that our pharmacy blister packs. It's a real big part of the duties in a pharmacy for multiple reasons. So hopefully our pharmacist guys can give a little bit more information on that. But yeah.
All right, cool. So we want to say hi to Kayleen James. Hi from HTX. Where's that? Houston, Texas?
In Texas?
Okay, so we will find out more about blister packing because that sounds interesting to me. All right. So one of the things I want you to remind everybody of is tell us where you are from. Tell us how long you've been on Ideal, how much you've lost. Share with us where you're at in your journey. Any questions that you have, be sure to put them in the comments because we're going to be on for another few minutes. And we would like to answer any questions that you have. So let's see. Melissa says yes on the blister packing, and yes, it's free at Redcliff, and you can see Dee and Melissa too, so you get a bonus. All right. So next, go ahead.
I can give you some poor examples of I've done this.
Oh,
I pour them in a baggie. I do keep.
And they're like nothing at the end of on a trip.
And then these little guys are great for person. Yeah. And you get types of things almost anywhere, and different amounts or whatever. But I can jam a lot of supplements in that container that I just held up, and it's great for my purse. And so I like to keep a backup one in my purse, and then depending on where I am, where I'm not, like so many of you, busy with jobs, kids, extracurricular, and so then if you have them always in your purse, just like you should always have an emergency snack stash in your purse, then you're not worried about cramming them all in before you go to bed. Mm-hmm.
That's right. Okay. So let's see. I have maybe like one or two. One thing I want to let you know is before the end of the show, we have a special recipe for Valentine's Day that Dee is going to share. Dee, do you have tips for people that are, I think maybe let me reword this. There's a lot of people that I've seen that, ask questions, or I've seen posts online like, well, it's only one day. Do you go off protocol for the one day? So how should people handle Valentine's Day? I have to tell you, I do not advise my clients to go on and off of protocol. I just say, let's go for it. Let's get this done. We can go off protocol after that and do what you want to do.
I'm not a fan of going off protocol for one day, and there are many reasons why. One is that, again, that one day you've just flushed your whole week. And that being said, most people, we have a lot of things to celebrate, whether it's big holidays, national holidays, civic holidays, birthdays, anniversaries, births, and not even just celebrating, but you think of, family gatherings, funerals, all those places where food is constantly pushed and not necessarily on protocol food. So, yes, Valentine's Day is coming next week. And that's where I would encourage the client to, have an awesome dinner. If you were saving that special occasion to do surf and turf, now is a great time to do it. So again, really yummy, beautiful food choices based on your protein and the allowable veggies that you're allowed. And there's really so many. And I find that we don't focus enough on what we can have. We like to focus on what we can't have. So we just want to try to help you redirect your thinking to the yummy things that you can have. And the great thing about IP2 is that they have supplied us with some pretty tasty treats. And I've made some pretty tasty treats, and I've seen many amazing coaches and dieters make some pretty tasty substitutes too, for when dieters feel like they need a little bit more, or when they're feeling stuck. And you have some great products there as well.
Yeah. So, one of the things for Valentine's, I was thinking about things that are red. So, did you know that you can have an extra every other day of our collagen products? So we have this raspberry jelly, and we also have the blueberry cranberry drink. I like to drink this cold or hot. And actually, I will make the gelatin as a warm drink and drink it almost like a tea. I like that. And then one other thing that I love and have every day, I just got this out of my cupboard. As you can see, I use it. It is the branched chain amino acids. And I think, you know, not only are these great collagen products, not only are they an extra on that day where you just really need an extra, or you feel like you need an extra, whether you need it or not. They're tasty. They give you energy. And let's talk a little bit, Dee, about the branched chain amino acids, because I think a lot of people are confused as to why they need them or how they work in our program.
So branched chain amino acids are actually the wonderful ingredient in our body that make up the most after water. They are essential for muscle function, organ, brain. Again, they're encompassing all your major organs, all your major functions. So the branched chain amino acids, what's lovely about them is that they are in every single one of your ideal protein packages. The couple of collagen ones that you just touched on, they're actually an incomplete chain of the amino acids. We can talk a little bit more about that later. But so the amino acids, the branched chain amino acids themselves, they're a freebie. It is simple, pure muscle support. They are an optional product. However, we totally recommend them now. They go right into your skeletal muscle system and are taken up right in your skeletal muscle system. So it's not something that, it's not something for your tummy or that way. It is,
it supports lean mass and
yeah.
and so that you don't burn lean mass, and it also helps you to gain lean mass over time. So the key thing, and if you're not familiar with why do we care about the lean mass, the key thing is if we retain your muscle structure, your lean mass, you end the diet with exactly the same metabolic rate or higher than when you started the program, which is completely different than any, calorie restricted kind of program out there. So typically you're going to be losing both muscle and fat. And what happens is when we regain the weight, we never regain that muscle. So every time we lose muscle on a restricted calorie diet, our metabolism goes lower and lower. And, I'm sure you've seen it, Dee, where somebody comes in and they have, they can't even eat 1,100 calories on a regular basis because they have yo-yo dieted so many times. And so we want to get your metabolic rate to hopefully go back to where it used to be or should be.
Yes, and on that note, on the branched chain, so for example, in our clinic, we're recommending them from the first day of your first week for that extra lean mass support. It's going to give you extra water, extra hydration, but it's going to give you extra amino acids for those muscles. And like we touched on before, there are a lot of protein deficient, program users out there. So it's the extra little support. There's not a right or a wrong time of the day to take them as well. But just another side note too, it is not a product that lets you do hard exercise and helps you build muscle. It is not that. You absolutely cannot be anabolic and catabolic at the same time. If you are not sure about what that means, it is simply we cannot be stripping our fat and building muscle at the same time. We are preserving our lean muscle mass and stripping our fat. If you need a little more clarification on that, please ask your coach. But so if you're doing heavy, so while this product is absolutely designed for skeletal muscle support, it doesn't replace, it's not going to build magic muscle. So.
Yeah, and I work a lot with people that exercise on a regular basis, and I also work with athletes. And in my clinic, we do different types of things with the protocol, but the weight loss protocol itself is not geared to cardiovascular exercise. So, you know, if you want to go for a walk around the block and you can talk to your friend just like we're talking to each other, that's fine. But to go and burn up 300 or 400 calories when we're only putting 900 calories in, your body's going to stop. It's going to, you know, go into fight or flight mode. And yeah, exactly. And so that there are things that you can do. I always tell my clients, first of all, if you're already doing an exercise program, let's just back that off a little bit, but you can still continue doing that. Maybe instead of an hour of weight training, you do 30 minutes of weight training. And definitely, you know, I would want you to support that with daily branch chain amino acids, and go to a light yoga class. That doesn't mean hot yoga, and it doesn't mean power yoga. It means a light yoga class. Go to a Pilates class. Go to a beginner bar class. So, you know, we want you to build muscle, tone your muscles, but just knowing that, you know, it's counterintuitive. I know, because we've been taught our whole lives, the more you jog, the more you run, the more you walk, you know, the more weight you're going to lose. But it actually really doesn't have anything to do with that, does it, Dee?
No, not on this program, no.
Oh my God, that's funny. All right, so let's see. Melissa bowed out, and my girlfriend Lori is online apparently and joking with me because she just sent me a Facebook message, because after an evening of drinking, I will have one of these as a hydration method. But that's only in maintenance, people. There is no alcohol in phase 1. And maybe we should talk about that with Valentine's coming up, Dee. Let's talk a moment about what alcohol does and why it's not just about 4 carbs in your glass of wine.
Yeah, so when we are in ketosis, the bottom line is that our liver cannot process the food we're eating and the alcohol, and it will, your body's natural default, you don't get to choose. Your liver must take care of that alcohol that's on board. It's going to be its first job, is to process and get rid of that. And because you don't have any carbohydrates in your system attached to that, you hear often on this program, people get confused between ketosis and ketoacidosis, but that is exactly what drinking alcohol on this program can do. It can lead you to have a ketoacidosis reaction. It is very dangerous. And I know that we get a lot of feedback on this all the time. Mm-hmm. You are, it's no different than having that bite, lick, taste, that one chip, that one cracker. Alcohol completely takes you out of the game for a week. And not only that, it's hard on your system organs, it is hard on your liver, and it is dangerous. It is an absolute no. We cannot be responsible for your health journey if you choose to do partake in consuming alcohol. It negates your contract that you sign also with your coach and clinic. When you do this program, you agree that we're going to set that aside for the time being. Definitely I'm going to tell you to respect that aspect of the program. It is for your safety. It is for your health, and your liver, your poor liver. Your organs pre-diet, before you decide to go, if you have any type of metabolic syndrome, your organs are taxed. They are under a lot of stress. And giving your pancreas a rest, and also eating the high biological protein, it actually gives your organs a rest. They have to do less work to get your nutrition, and it's a great reset for them. So giving them that rest, giving them that reset, they're going to work better for you when you're done and be healthier. So please don't feed your liver booze. Yeah, alcohol.
Honestly, I'm very, very specific. I've had clients actually black out or end up in the hospital because they had 2 glasses of wine. to vodka sodas. And really it's a very serious thing. So yeah, I always like to touch on that. Okay, so Dee, tell us how you make your special Valentine's sour gummies.
Sure. So taking your ideal protein jello, that's my favorite ingredient to use. You can also use the IP water enhancers too, but I'm going to tell you how to do it with the jello because I just have it off by heart. So you dissolve your jello with 125 mils of really hot water.
Okay, what's a mill?
Oh, right. So we're going to 15 milliliters, so mLs, if you see a recipe, 15 mils is 1 tablespoon.
Okay.
So what do you talk? Do you talk in tablespoons?
We talk, yeah. I've never learned the metric system.
And metric system, sorry. So I can convert that. To tablespoons.
Okay. All right. Cool.
And to that, you're going to add 1 teaspoon of bloom gelatin. Now, bloom gelatin is animal collagen. So it contains no fat, it contains no carbohydrates, and it's going to set that jello. I pour it into little candy molds. You've probably all seen the plastic candy molds. I don't have one right with me, but we pour them in there. We let them set up in the fridge. They turn into wonderful squishy little jellies, and then we give them a dusting of citric acid. And so traditional gummy candies or sour candies, they're just rolled in citric acid. It's no calories, no carbs, nothing attached to those two. And we can make you some really delicious homemade gummies. And they're great for maintenance too. They're great for any kind of keto programs. But using our products,
they would be considered a freebie, right? Because they're made with the raspberry gelatin. Okay, so that's something you can have as a fourth ideal protein meal packet on Valentine's. And you can have the collagen products every other day. And just like we were talking about, they don't have the full branched chain amino acids in them, so you cannot use them as a meal replacement. So you don't want to be using them as a lunch or a breakfast or what have you. Dee's puppy has been dying the entire day to talk to us. All right. So if there's anybody out there that has questions, send us your questions. If you're watching this in the replay, tell us where you're from. Ask us your questions. We're happy to respond to them, even if we are not live. And Dee, do you have any more tips that you want to share with people regarding deviation and the upcoming Valentine holiday?
Yeah, planning and preparing is always, no matter what we talk about on protocol, planning and preparing is always going to be your best line of defense. Knowing what you're going to eat, when you're going to eat it. Do not let your peers sway you. I'm so sorry. Gum! Don't let your peers sway you into situations. If you know, like if your spouse or partner or loved one, family, friends say, I really want to take you out. We really want to celebrate this evening. If you know you can do it, absolutely go and enjoy the environment. But if it's going to put too much stress on you and become not fun, and you're going to be miserable and you're going to just cave because you're feeling bad, remember when poor food choices are often attached to negative emotions, not just happy ones. And it is really difficult. Maybe it's time to say, you know what, I'm going to make this the most wonderful lobster meal at home, or steak, or tenderloin, or whatever you like. There's not a right or wrong for that, but learning who you are and what your triggers are, like if you can't go to that favorite restaurant because they have your favorite cheesecake and we just have to put that aside for now, maybe it's best to not go. And that's not wrong. And being a self-advocate for that as well, for those around you. It can be hard. I know so many are scared to ask, the people around them for support. Don't be scared to say no, and don't be scared to, maybe choose a location or choose your meal, or really, self-advocate for what you need. It's a great learning tool, and some clients, they're too polite. They're just so polite. They don't want to hurt feelings. They don't. Yeah.
So one of the things that I will always say is, here we are. We're getting that feedback again.
Sorry.
So one of the things that I always say is look around you, because everybody is a picky eater in their own way. How many times do you go someplace and someone says, leave this off, add this, extra that, don't want this? It's totally okay and very acceptable. And waiters and waitresses are so used to people's dietary restrictions now, whether it is, dairy. I always say, just tell them that you're allergic to dairy. And then that way it just takes that piece right out, because they're going to really be diligent about it. Tell your friends. A lot of times I have people that say, well, I haven't told my family I'm on a program, or I haven't, because they've failed at other things and they're so afraid to fail again. You're only going to be successful when you put all of the things in place, and when you stop worrying about what other people have to say about you. And I know that sometimes that feels easier said than done, but really that's where it's at, is making this your own journey and being okay with the bumps along the way. I had a client come in this last week, and actually she didn't want to come in. She texted me and she said, oh my God, I went off protocol, and then I couldn't stop eating. And then what should I do? I said, stop now and just get started again. This is part of the journey. So you don't just quit the journey. I mean, if you made a mistake at work, would you quit work?
Right.
No, you would just fix the mistake and go forward, right?
And another thing too is, don't be scared to say thank you, or not right now, I'll help myself later. I don't be scared also. If eat before you go places. Carry snacks. I have even recommended to dieters that are under the scrutiny of peers, take your cheesy Doritos and put them in just a regular little Ziploc bag. If you took those out and ate them, nobody's going to blink twice at you. But if you take them out in your silver packet, people are all of a sudden, the protocol experts and the diet experts and the judging experts. Manipulate it to make it work for you. A few other, when we talk about deviation, eating out can really be a tricky thing to master if you're not willing to tell. And this is where it's uncomfortable for people, and we acknowledge it, and we are not saying that it is easy, but learning to advocate about what you can and cannot have is pivotal for success on your diet. Because if there is sauce, if there is butter, if there is all those hidden things on your vegetables and meat, it can absolutely slow you down. It can also trigger hunger. So when you get that little bit of extra carb or sugar, and you say, oh, I was so hungry, I was so craving, it actually can be really true. You might have had something sneak in, and it starts that catalyst. And so overcoming, those little hiccups in being able to be a self-advocate are going to take you a lot further on your program, especially if you have to settle in for a serious amount of time. Everybody's amount of time on the diet is going to be different too. And if you have been a past or present program user, give your tips and tricks and your favorite places to eat out and your favorite places to go. Be it, you never know what maybe meal you've made or maybe stop you've made or something that you've discovered, it can be a real game changer for somebody else on the program. Whether you're a coach, dieter, like I said, past or present user, if something works for you, be guaranteed that it's going to work for somebody else too, and they're going to really appreciate you sharing those tips and tricks.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. And you know, other than it's difficult, I think in a Mexican restaurant, there's probably only like fajitas, which are still you're gonna have them not put the onions in. You can have like a salad, but again, you're gonna be, it's tricky because you don't know, how they make all their meats and what they add to their meats and what have you. I always say the easiest place to eat is in a steakhouse. Going for a petite filet is usually somewhere between 6 and 8 ounces, making sure they're not cooking it in butter, having steamed broccoli, steamed asparagus, having a salad to start with, no dressing, olive oil on the side, no croutons. It becomes a habit and you just don't even think about it anymore. And, anything that we do takes time to learn. Every process that we do at work, every training that we go through, this is just like another training. You're just learning now how to order in a restaurant and how to shop and what to look for on labels. And that's like a whole nother show we can do. Just learning to do something new and think of it that way, is it's just a whole new learning curve to your new lifestyle and way of life. So pardon?
Well, for Valentine's Day, I especially, all the things that it surrounds, I would definitely tell my loved one that, yep, I do want the gorgeous flowers this year, or I want some gift certificates for new clothes because I am making a new body, or new shoes, or I want pretty toenails, or get me a gift certificate for a haircut, or buy me my favorite book to soak in the tub with, or those wonderful bath
salts,
soaks, detoxes, all those kind of things. We could make an entire list of wonderful gifts that don't revolve chocolate or food. And put them to use for any of those special occasions, but definitely Valentine's, with that coming up and somebody wants to give you a surprise, just give them a gentle nudge of an entire list of things that you could enjoy.
That's awesome. That's a really good idea, Dee. We need a Valentine's list. All right. So let's say hello to Kayleen. Says, yes, dieters are so polite, especially my women dieters, always putting their needs last. And yes, that's a whole nother show too. I encourage them that they matter to it and to say what they need. Yes. Ladies, we cannot be good moms. We cannot be good bosses. We can't be good wives or partners when we are putting ourselves last. We need to put ourselves at the front so that we can be the best that we can be for all of the people that we love, and most of all for the person that we should be loving, which is ourselves. Self-love is where it starts. That's where we learn to love other people. So Kayleen says, one day at a time, always one meal away from being on plan. Yep, one day at a time. Thanks, Kayleen, for stopping in. We appreciate it. Hillary says, I'm going out of town for 2 nights this weekend. I booked a hotel with a kitchenette to handle breakfast and lunches, planning Swiss chalet and the keg for 2 dinners. My first big challenge since starting IP. Well, Dee and I were just talking about packing for your travel, and I do have a travel guide. I will post it in the comments section below. It'll give you a packing list. Dee, tell us what you do when you are packing to go out of town and all of that.
I am never scared to go out of town anymore. If this is a rule of thumb for me, if you have time to go through a drive-through, you have time to stop at a grocery store. And I know it just takes that little bit of practice. You know, roast chickens, whole meats done in delis. Those deli gals, guys, they can let you know exactly what's in the food choices and what's not as well. Every veggie section usually now has packaged broccoli, cauliflower, snow peas, beans, like, yeah, you name it, you can grab them and eat them on the go. When you're traveling, and if you are, here's a great tip. 2 unrestricted ideal protein packets can equal 8-ounce serving of protein.
Right.
Okay. So if you're stuck when traveling, or even just, you know, stuck in choices of where to go eat, you are hungry, you may use 2 packets to replace your 8 ounces. So if you did that in that day, it would be 5 packets, only 1 being restricted. Okay. So you could have 5 that day. Or even, let's take it a little bit further. Maybe you would use 4 packets that day because you had a 4-ounce pure beef hamburger patty. Okay, so say you had a 4-ounce lettuce burger and you knew you were going to be short, another packet equals about 4 ounces, unrestricted. Okay, so if you need clarification on this, don't be scared to ask us some questions or take it back to your coach. That goes back to always pack extra. Extra in your purse, extra in your luggage, extra in your vehicle. Be over prepared, not under prepared. I love how she said that she's prepared to go in her hotel. Most hotels do, you know, always look to see if they have microwaves, look to see if they have fridges, if they have kettles, coffee makers. If they have a coffee maker, you can make hot water without making the coffee, so that, you know, your oatmeals, your soups, things like that, they can be done in hotel rooms. All hotels have ice. So even if your hotel room does not come with a fridge, I have put ice in the recycling container, laid a bathroom towel over it, and have laid my little veggie bags over top of it as well. And there is nothing worse than taking your beautiful prepared salads and your bags of veggies, putting them in a hotel fridge, only to have them frozen. Hotel fridges are notorious, right, for freezing your food. So awesome little coolers on rollers, you know, they look like just little luggage, you know. Those are great to take to hotel rooms. They're great to put your own ice in them so that you don't ruin your food. They're also great options too once you're to your destination, if you want to go do a little bit of grocery shopping, so that you don't have to worry about, you know, flying, driving, traveling. So for myself, coming up in 12 days, I'm crossing the border. I cannot bring any fresh veggies, fruit or meat across the border into the United States. I'm coming from Canada. But so my packets I can bring, I can have as many of those in the vehicle as I want, but I can have no fresh fruit, meat, or vegetables in my vehicle crossing the border. They will confiscate it, maybe even kick me back. So once I cross that border, then we're gonna do some shopping. And so for any Canadians that travel, we know that it's actually not a bad thing, because you guys have better prices on your meat and veggies than we do in Canada. So good. Yes. So yes, don't be scared to stop at grocery stores. And if you want more traveling tips, like Renee said, she's got her documents, and we can always help you with specific questions too.
Absolutely.
Lots of ideas for traveling. You bet.
Absolutely. So Cher says, hi Cher, most restaurants are willing to take special requests. I've asked for plain grilled chicken cooked with no butter. Absolutely. Simple stuff. Hillary says, great tips on the extra packets. I didn't know that. Yeah, it's, you know, just figure that every 4 ounces of animal protein can be replaced with 1 non-restricted packet. Of course, it's the packets that are not the collagen packets, but, you know, your soups and your smoothies. And, you know, when I travel, I always have in my carry-on bag, I always have maple oatmeal, a couple chocolate drink mixes, a couple vanilla crispy squares, some chocolate puffs, because sometimes, you know, we've actually been delayed for 8 hours in the airport. And, you know, I don't want to eat junk food. It's not my deal, because I've come to a place where I've learned how to maintain my weight. and I'm going on vacation where I'm probably going to do, you know, when I'm in maintenance, I'm going to have some indulgences. So I don't want to start my trip out with a bunch of junk. And I don't, honestly, I just don't eat junk food anymore. You know, my thing was Taco Bell, Del Taco, 1 a.m., you know, 2 spicy bean burritos and a pintos and cheese. That was my order. So anyway, just sharing. Okay. So we have been online here for over an hour, and we want to say thank you to you guys. Dee and I have no problem chit-chatting forever. Send us your questions in the replay. Tell us where you're from. Tell us how much you've lost, what part of your journey you are on. We'll love to help you. If you type in the word recipe, you will get directed to Dee's recipes group, where you can find so many great recipes for phase 1 and maintenance. And if you type in yes, you will get our special occasion tips book. And thank you, everybody. Thank you, Dee. I always enjoy my time with you. And we will be back probably in a couple of weeks talking about something else on phase 1.
Yes, thank you, Renee.
Right.
Thank you, Renee. Love to see everybody. Love to see the comments. Always so much fun. And yeah, I'm a talker. We can talk for days, I think. So we're gonna have to come up, everybody. We're gonna have to come up with some great IP retreats, which I know our gal Rosemary is. She's got some. We just so many great things happening. So.
That's right. That's right. Connect with your coach and you know, ask them for support group and what have you, because every clinic has different things going on. Get involved, because when you get involved, that's when you're going to be successful. Surround yourself with like-minded people and you'll become more successful. All right, ladies, have a good one. Bye, Dee. It was super fun.
Bye, Renee. Thank you.